reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 231. I'm Chris and I am joined once again by a very busy chat room. Wow! They're just excited tonight. And, of course, that guy at MMO Bill himself. Hello, Bill.
Good evening. You know, maybe we should just type our podcast. We could go completely meta.
Avant-garde.
Yep.
Right?
And instead of sending out an audio file, we'll just put out a text file.
No.
.txt. Then we can get it to be read by James Earl Jones.
No. See, what we do is we video the chat room, put that out as the YouTube video, and have Yoko Ono music in the background. That's a thought.
And then we start a Kickstarter to never do that again.
If you don't give us money, we'll do this again every week. And force you to download it? I don't know. Whatever. We do have a fairly light week this week. A couple of interesting stories, but nothing that's really, oh, wow, look, this amazing new thingamabobber, what's-my-who's-it there thing. So we're going to talk about stuff, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's old school MMO Reporter here, back in the day. Back in the good old days. We could start...
You need that 1920s newscaster filter put on there.
Yeah, or we could just go, yep. But we don't need to do that, though. I'm pretty sure some people just threw their phones across the room saying, no, not again. No. All right. Yeah, we're a little weird tonight. Sorry. Let's get going about what we've done in game, though, because we do actually have some news to talk about. Bill, why don't you start?
Well, I'm going to start with, I actually played a bit of Civ Beyond Earth, which...
Still not feeling it, huh?
I still don't feel it. I like the game. It's decent, but it doesn't do... It's not Civ. It just never quite gets to what Civ is. It doesn't have that quality to it that sucks you in for hours and hours and hours on end. There's always seems to be a little hump that I hit where I've basically said, I've played this enough, I need to get up and walk away. Whereas in Civ, I basically have to set an alarm clock to kill the process. If I don't do that, then I'll just not stop.
You just play for 5 minutes and then it's morning.
There's something different there, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's... I think one of the things is that it really muddies the whole notion of enemies in that game. Like the diplomacy basically extends even to like the NPC world. Whereas in Civilization, you see barbarians and you just kill them because you know they're going to kill you if you don't get them first. Whereas in Beyond Earth, there's a bit of a metagame there where you can either befriend the world creatures, or you can make enemies of them, or you can make enemies of certain ones, and it's it's intertwined with the rest of the world. And if you make one mistake, it can really punish you to kind of go down that road.
Because Civ isn't punishing enough.
It's very finicky. And I think that's the thing that I have a hard time. Maybe if I actually spent tons and tons of hours figuring out that mechanic and trying to decide which way I like playing it best, then it would be a little bit more appealing. But that adds a lot of complexity to it, and I find that just a little bit of a turnoff. And part of it is that whenever I sit down to play, I only have half an hour, and I just look at the icon and I say, okay, I've got to try this. This time it'll be better.
Yeah, this time will be better. It won't hurt me this time.
I also played a little bit of The Old Republic, or Star Wars The Old Republic, and I'm actually enjoying that. I've got myself and Asani are both subscribed now, and we're really loving that 12 times experience. That just makes everything go so easy. And it really alleviates a lot of the need to be a completionist in that game. Like, I'm feeling okay with skipping quests that I didn't really want to do or that I've already done half a dozen times before, that kind of thing. So I'm actually enjoying that a fair bit. I still like the story evolution in that game. I loathe to say it's the best in any MMO I've ever played, but it's probably not too far off from that. I really like playing the quote unquote single player aspect of the MMO. If they could just get all the other people out of the Old Republic, then it would be a super fun game.
Yeah.
So, what else? I started Ark.
Oh,
I played
you
a little bit
did.
of Ark. I did, and I don't get Ark yet. To be fair, I only played for like 20 minutes, half an hour or something like that. But I played, I walked down the beach, and while I was looking at menus and key bindings, I was attacked by a level 8 and a level 72 dinosaur. And I was able to render them unconscious, like they were little velociraptors.
Yeah.
But as they were unconscious, and I was trying to figure out what to do with these two unconscious dinosaurs lying beside me, I bled to death, and that was that.
Well, don't get too attached to it. Laynor plays it, so it's going to die soon.
Probably, yeah. It's one of those ones that needs a longer run. I need to figure it out. I think I'm actually going to watch some gameplay videos and see what you're supposed to do, because they don't give. I mean, it's an alpha game still. It's a pre-release game. There's no help. You get dumped on a beach, and it basically says go.
That's survival games, though, for you.
Yeah,
They all do that.
But like literally nothing. Like not even to tell you how to go forwards or backwards and or anything like that. It's just you're there, and oh look, there's a dinosaur that's trying to kill you.
That's
anyway.
and don't you get to tame them and ride them?
I have no idea. All I know is I punch them and they make me bleed to death. That's as far as I've gotten with Ark.
Punch a dinosaur in the face. It's a good game.
Yeah. I beat a dinosaur in a fist fight, so take that for what you will. I also played Guild Wars 2, and just my standard Guild Wars 2. I'm leveling up an Elementalist that I've got to just about 56.
Oh, really?
And so basically here's my plan, because I have too many alts. I mean, in spite of what our theme song says, I've got too many. I can't play them all. So, and unfortunately, I'll get to this in a minute, my engineer might wind up becoming an important part of my rotation here. But my plan was, I have a thief, which I love. I love the fast, bouncy around type style of the thief, and it's even better with the Daredevil spec. I'm really enjoying that. I know you weren't a big fan, but I'm really loving that type of play. So I've got that for just general running around, PvP, that kind of thing. I want to have a long-range character for some of the events that need range, and I have a ranger. Ranger? Damn it! I always get confused whether it's a hunter or a ranger. I think Neverwinter destroyed me for that, but anyway, the ranger. But it's so boring. The ranger is such a dull class to play. There's one ability. It's the machine gun longbow attack.
Yeah.
That's there for range, and everything else is just ho-hum, very situational. You sort of need it, but not really. And then there's the melee aspects of it, which are not too bad, but I just find it really boring. The Elementalist is fun. Like, you've got so many different abilities, and anyway, fun class to play. So anyway, I need a long range class, and I was going to run up a Guardian, but I could be convinced otherwise, but I'm pretty sure that my melee range class is going to be a Revenant.
Yep.
I'm really. Last time I played that, I was just so excited. It's the challenge of it too. There's so much strategy to how you play. Like you can one Revenant's play style could be 100% different from another Revenant. You wouldn't even recognize them as the same class.
Right.
So that's my plan. So I'm going to try to get myself down to 3 characters that I actually play. And I know it's not going to work, but I'm going to try.
Don't forget about your alts, Bill.
Yeah, but don't forget about my alts. I just wanted to mention a quick drop. Last week they had the Mordrum Invasion event,
right.
where it was kind of a typical Guild Wars 2 invasion event where you had enemies doing random invasions in certain zones, and you had to beat them back, and you get rewards and blah 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 blah. Unfortunately, this event really did not go well. There was a bunch of technical issues with loot not being delivered correctly. The design of the events was a little bit rough in that it really encouraged people to not fully participate. Like the best value for your time in this event was to go and basically tag different events, like kill 1 or 2 mobs at each event and then move on to another event on the map. And there was not really a lot of incentive for people to stay in a spot and finish an event. So you wound up having tourists, you wound up having the map getting super overpowered because so many people would show up for a couple of minutes and then bail out, and then all of a sudden you've got whoever's left is fighting a force that's twice as powerful as what it should be for the number of people there, because Guild Wars 2 events scale based on the number of people that are there, just so, which is normally a nice feature but doesn't work well when the event is designed like this.
Right.
The rewards really required a ton of play. Like in order to get kind of towards the higher end of the rewards in there, you had to be playing almost the entire weekend, and you had to be almost 100% successful in the events that you were running. And anyway, a lot of people really didn't like how this event went. They actually came out on Point of Interest and said, yeah, we're not going to extend this. We're not going to do it again. We're just going to learn our lessons and come back with something else.
And that seems to be something that ArenaNet does, where they don't come back and say, oh, you know what, we're going to extend this because it didn't quite work well. We're going to fix a few things, and here's a few extra days. So like, nope, that was it. You're done. Didn't work right. Didn't like it. Sorry. Move along now. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, they seem to be okay with disposable content, like the stuff that they only put out for a little while and then carry on with life, like Super Adventure Box, which people are desperate to have back again.
Yes,
but
please.
But I mean, stuff like that that only shows up very rarely. Obviously their seasonal events are actually a fairly big deal. They add dungeons and they completely modify a bunch of different zones and world events and everything like that. But it still only appears for a few weeks and then it's gone. So
yeah,
they're okay with that temporary content. And then the only other bit that I wanted to mention too is they actually announced the engineer, the scrapper. That's what I was talking about. That I might need to get an engineer alt playing,
right? Because it's tanky, right?
It's very tanky. It's heavy survival, so I could see a little bit of a role for that. Obviously, Revenants can do that as well, but it's cool. I really like your drones. The notion of that being your action bar events,
right?
And those things, and having just a ton of little flying drones following you around.
Yes,
can you? I'm just imagining this scrapper setting up at a fight, setting down a bunch of turrets, summoning all his drones, and just being like an army all by himself.
Maybe that needs to be Extra Life, an army of
a drone army.
A drone army.
We'll have to think about that. We have to actually start thinking about about Extra Life. Do we know what our Extra Life weekend is going to be?
We can look that up in the amount of time it takes you to distract the audience.
Hey, audience, look at that shiny thing. No, not over there. Over there, the other window. Look out the other window. No, the other window. Yeah, that one. No, the other. There you go. That window. Doesn't that look like the Northern Lights? I kind of think so.
November 7th.
November 7th. Oh, that's a good weekend for it. That's actually really good because that's sliding into a long weekend for us here in the frozen north.
Well,
isn't
kind of a long weekend. So
it's because the holiday is the Wednesday.
Middle of the week. Yeah.
So basically, we only hurt for Monday and Tuesday, and then we can do our full recovery on Wednesday instead of just hurting for the entire week after Extra Life.
Correct. Yes, because Extra Life hurts in all the right ways, but it still hurts.
anyway, we'll be putting out a bunch more information about Extra Life, including what we're going to play when we actually figure it out. And
which we need to get on that.
Yeah, exactly. So anybody out there who wants us to play their game for Extra Life, let us know. We're open to suggestions.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was basically my week. Chris, what have you been up to?
I haven't played very much. Work and editing have just taken over my life. Leveled my Oathbound Paladin some more in Neverwinter, so I jumped on there. I've been meaning to go and play The Taken King, which we'll talk about in a little bit, on my PS4, but haven't had a chance. And I've been playing Gigantic. I can talk about that. I can't talk about it. I can talk that I'm playing it.
That you're aware that it exists.
I am allowed to brag about the fact that I am playing this game. And you know what, Bill?
Yeah.
I have a feeling. I have an inclination, in fact.
I got a feeling.
That I'm gonna give away some beta keys. Hey, I've got some beta keys. We're gonna have a Rafflecopter up on the site very, very shortly, where you too can get a Gigantic beta key. And you know what? Anybody right now who is in the chat room, I got a deal for you. You want to play Gigantic? Send me an email, chris@MMOreporter.com. I'll get you a beta key. You're welcome.
Nice.
Feel the love. Feel the love for our wonderful chat room. Chris@MMOreporter.com. And you can send your complaints to Bill@MMOreporter.com.
Yes, I have a special folder for complaints.
Is it your trash folder?
No.
Spam folder?
No, it's the subscribe these people for every porn ever.
Awesome, sort of. I don't know. Yeah, so
no,
that's
mean. I wouldn't do that. I love constructive feedback. That's
right.
At least below 50% swears.
At least, and you love it when it's above 50%. You just like it when it's below.
Sure, love. That's the word I'm looking for.
All right, so that's what we've been doing. Want to mention our wonderful patrons. We're up to 31 patrons now, Bill.
Nice.
31 patrons.
Thank you, everyone.
So at 50 patrons, we're going to do a giveaway. So if you are interested in getting a giveaway, we'll announce all that sort of stuff as we get closer to 50, but we'll have some stuff to send out to all you fine people. We usually record, for those of you who are interested, on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Pacific. We're a little early this week because it's only Bill and I, so we don't have to wait up for Harry to get up across the world. So we usually record at, like I said, 10 p.m. Pacific time. And hey, send us an iTunes review. Let us know what you think. All right, let's move things along.
Set. You don't need a Spider-Man. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level.
All right, we've got a first story that is very, very interesting here. They're actually repackaging Wurms Online. Now, for those of you who have not played Wurms Online, it is a free-to-play MMO that I really haven't played and don't know too much about, but I keep hearing about it. Somewhat in the same vein as RuneScape, in a very rudimentary graphic engine, a little bit old, but fairly substantial world. So it's been a reasonable success in the free-to-play market, and people have been playing the game. But they are now repackaging it as Wurms Unlimited. And you can check it out on Steam right now if you are so interested. There's a couple of interesting things about the game, though. First of all, it's coming out October 21st. But this is basically going to be a repackaging of Wurms Online, and they are going to let you play Wurm locally on your PC or even host persistent servers. So you are going to be able to set up your own server for Wurms Online without having to break the law. It's actually going to be part of it. And they're going to include two different game modes with this. Adventure, which is a predefined world with a few warring kingdoms to live in and explore. And in the adventure mode, you're going to try to become a deity on one of the moons, the Valray.
Okay.
So kind of interesting. And then creative is going to be a totally undeveloped map, just like creative mode in Minecraft or something like that.
I was gonna say that smells a lot of Minecraft there, depending on how much power the tools actually give you.
Right.
That could be amazing. I could see it being more than a one-person job, though. Like the vibe I'm getting from reading this, and maybe I'm not picking it up right. You can tell me otherwise. That this is the kind of thing that if you're running a Wurm Unlimited world, you want a team. Like not necessarily 50 people, but you probably want, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 people to help you get it rolling, especially if you're going to do custom.
And here's the thing: in both modes, you can set your player to become a game master with the ability to instantly create items, summon monsters, build and terraform faster in order to create the experience you want for players, or just fool around with the features. So you can actually get in there and terraform a la Populous. You look up that reference, ladies and gentlemen, and get in there and really mess with stuff and be a game master. So that's an interesting thing. You can make your own modes. You can even get right in there and tweak things like skill values, skill gain rates, action timers, max number of creatures, and you're going to be able to connect servers to each other and travel in between them and create a large persistent cluster. So you could have a whole bunch of servers together. Each one is its own world, and you could have this multiple world sort of system. It's really something that's quite innovative. I mean, I don't think either of us are super keen on Wurm Online. I don't think either of us have ever played it. I don't have a great desire to ever play it. It's just not my type of game. Not talking about the quality of the game in any way. But this is something unique. We've been talking about this, and neither of us can recall a case where this has been done before, where they have
shaped.
Oh, I muted that volume before. Where they've done this before. So.
Yeah, where somebody's basically taken their core game that they've already released and then done almost like a sub-release of the world-building tools, saying, here you go, just go crazy. And I'm not thinking of things like Neverwinter or Sword Coast or anything like that. I'm talking more of like an MMO type scale, because that's exactly what we're dealing with here. This is the kind of thing that if I had nothing but time on my hands and just had I just had the urge to build and everything, I could actually see sinking my teeth into something like this and really taking a run at it.
Well, it really looks like you can basically build your own MMO using their framework. Use your own lore, use your own art style, because you can build buildings in a certain way. I don't think you can import textures and stuff like that. It doesn't look like. You're just modifying what's already there.
There's so much of a kind of a maker type community around gaming these days. People really are organically building their own game studios, and with funding and or like Kickstarter funding and public funding and that kind of thing, there's a big groundswell in that area. What a great opportunity to, if you want to kind of sell your chops as a world designer. Well, like not necessarily a programmer or not necessarily a technical builder as far as games go, but actually a designer. What a great way to like build a resume for yourself. I mean, if you and 2 or 3 of your friends get together and write a backstory, build a world, and make it something compelling, just put the link in your resume. They can say, bang, here, log into my world, check it out.
Yeah, totally. Right? And that's exactly what not exactly, but it's very much the world of a designer is using tools that other people have built to create the content for players to play. And it really seems like this is going to give you the chance for that. I'd really love to hear how much of our audience is actually interested in this, because I really appreciate the ingenuity in this and how unique this is. I have probably a smidge more than zero interest in actually doing this myself. It just seems like for me, and knowing the amount of time I have available, what I'm going to be able to do. And I don't know if I even want to play it. The little bits that I've done in research for this game doesn't scream to me as something that I'm going to be super interested in if I play it. But that doesn't mean I can't appreciate the uniqueness of what they're offering here, and the fact that this could be a great opportunity for people who want to create that content.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess when you look at it and you look at things like Unity Engine being available for quote unquote free these days and a bunch of other stuff, there's a lot of tools out there that give you a chance to just try and see what you can do and see if you've got an interest. This is another one now, and I hope that it's worth checking out because, like I said, it's an appealing idea.
So let us know what your interest is in this. If you're interested in checking out this game, if this is something that calls to you, because we're really interested in hearing from other opinions. It'd be really great to see that. As we mentioned, it is a short show this week, so we're going to move right on to our sponsors. Thanks to Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter, and you can sign up, and then you'll get a free month. And the way it works is every month you get an audiobook credit. But here's the thing. Once you use that audiobook credit, you get to keep that book forever, not only while you're subscribed. So let's say that you want to subscribe for a few months, you get your favorite audiobooks, you get to keep those forever even when you end your subscription. Just a quick suggestion for anybody who does subscribe through this link, audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter, before you end your subscription, make sure that you use all the credits that you have, because we have been told by listeners in the past that when you do cancel your subscription, all of the unused credits are gone. So make sure you use them up before you cancel your sub. And our friends over at Doghouse Systems, go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter, and you can add to your system a free 120 gig SSD. So that is a fantastic purchase. I know Carrie loves her Doghouse system, and I'm sure that you will too.
Pull that world boss out a party, run through trash, you'll be sorry. Take a bio break without announcing. They may not rhyme, but they're quite possibly the dumbest ways to die. Dumbest ways to die. Dumbest ways to
I'm sure Camelot Unchained is going to give us a lot of dumb ways to die. Just looking at the way the spell system works and everything, that's going to be great. So if you're interested in Camelot Unchained, just like I am, you can head over to the link that we're going to have in the show notes here to the DragonCon panel that Mark Jacobs and crew put on talking about Camelot Unchained. Now, this is the first panel that I've actually watched talking about the game and talking about the development of the game, and it was really good. First, you've got Mark Jacobs up on stage, and who's just a treat to listen to with his Basque accent. But aside from that, it was actually a pretty good display. They've got a little bit of a kind of a teaser trailer for Camelot Unchained showing in there. They actually have about 10 minutes of live streaming play, like actual alpha players playing Camelot Unchained. It was just a really good talk about the game, and it's really getting me hyped up about Camelot Unchained again. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Crowfall over on Crowfall Reporter, believe it or not, and Crowfall and Camelot Unchained are really going to be landing at kind of the same time, and they're going for similar styles. They're not the same game, not by any stretch, I don't think, but they're PvP focused, or pardon me, realm versus realm focused, or world versus world focused, whatever you want to call it. It's not PvP per se, but they're both kind of building their own mechanics around this, and like the Crowfall is touting some features. Camelot Unchained is working on another. Crowfall, they both come from. The funny thing is too, they both come from almost the same era. The Crowfall team is coming out of. Dang it, Chris, help me out here.
Crowfall team is out of Texas.
Out of Texas, but what was the game that they were?
Shadowbane. Sorry.
Their guts and their team is kind of coming out of the Shadowbane team, and Camelot Unchained is obviously coming out of Dark Age of Camelot, which are two games that were kind of parallel. They were released at similar times, and they were also going after kind of the same crowd. So it's kind of funny that these two reincarnations, or sort of reincarnations, are coming up at the same time. But anyway, what else? They talked a lot about their spell system. The Camelot Unchained spell system is a combinatory spell system where basically each, if you're a magic user, you're going to have a bunch of kind of base spells and like very simple spells, but the whole spell system is based around how you combine those spells together. So you might throw 2 fireballs up in the air and then hit it with a wind spell to give yourself like an ultra long range fireball. You'd throw a fireball and a water blast into the same area and you'd create a steam cloud. You've got you basically combining these elemental effects, which is just an amazing system if you think about it. And you think about the amount of depth that's got to go into developing a system like that.
Right.
Like it's really cool. Like I wonder how much is going to come out of that they never even expected.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody casting 14 magic missiles and then dousing them with I don't know. Anyway, so I got kind of excited seeing about it. The world looks so beautiful. I know you weren't really impressed with it, Chris, but the world style reminds me so much of Dark Age of Camelot, which I loved. And really lends itself to that kind of just like guerrilla combat kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that even still now I have to maybe either get over or just wait and see further along the lines is, and I know there's still like alpha stage and stuff like that, but I the animations really, just the way they're animated right now really throws me off. I don't know what it is about them. The art style is okay. I'm not put off by the art style or anything like that. I think the world design is good. But the animations just throw me off right away.
Well, the animations you have to consider are actually a pretty important part of the combat system because the way they're building all their animations, they are meant to be kind of like, you know how Crowfall's got kind of the treed events and and like ability trees. Camelot Unchained's kind of taking that to another event. Like, we're basically, the melee attack system is going to be just as varied as the spell system, where your combat system is basically going to be a few base abilities, but everything is meant to be kind of chained together. So I can understand that how their animations might be a little bit rough right now because they actually have pretty grand pictures in how these animations are going to get built up. And the animations are going to be the gating system for it too. Like, as I understand, you're not going to have ability cooldowns or anything like that. It's all how your animation goes. So like, if you've got a long, slow animation, chances are that's a big hit. If you've got short, fast animations, those are going to be light, fast attacks. And so it's, I'm willing to forgive it at an alpha level. I think if it's still stilted in late beta release, then I'd be a little bit disappointed. But at this point, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on what they're trying to do, or what they're saying they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So they also talked a little bit about. They actually did a direct comparison. One of the questions that kind of came up at panel question time was a direct comparison to Guild Wars 2 World versus World. And they actually talked about it. Apparently most of the Camelot Unchained people are Guild Wars 2 player or have played Guild Wars 2. And they just talked about that as really, like, even though Guild Wars 2, I think, took their World versus World concept a lot from Dark Age of Camelot in some ways.
Right.
The Camelot Unchained sees theirs as just 100% different game. Like Guild Wars 2, you and I both know, is right now a Zerg fest. There's no reason not to run around with 100 of your closest friends.
Correct.
In World versus World and Guild Wars 2, and that's absolutely what they're trying to not do in Camelot Unchained.
Yeah.
So, and they're doing that. They talked about a little bit about some of the game mechanics. They're looking to try to disperse zerging, like spell effects, like area of effect spell effects that will chew through a zerg that's all piled up on each other. That doesn't happen in Guild Wars 2. Any area of effect abilities have a very hard limit on the number of people they can affect. Like, you can't hit 100 people with a spell in Guild Wars 2.
Right.
So, but that's something you could absolutely do, and it actually happened to me far too often in Dark Age of Camelot, and it looks like they're trying to bring that into Camelot Unchained as well. So,
well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, so it was kind of neat that they they certainly weren't tearing down Guild Wars 2 or anything like that. They did take a few shots at WoW in that panel, but like, who doesn't? And but they actually talked about Guild Wars 2 as being a game they like. So, hey, and I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
They also did kind of the first release, or at least DragonCon was the first release of the big map design that they had. Like their initial alpha gameplay footage was on kind of sandbox type landscapes. This was the first time that they actually released big maps, like the kind of maps that they'd actually have at release. So, really and they looked good. I liked them.
It's nice to see that sort of stuff. And all the alpha game streaming too. So that's really cool.
So yeah, so this is one I can see this being I can see it being a marketplace direct competitor of Crowfall. I can also see it being a competitor for my time with Crowfall when they land.
Yeah. Well, good. The rising tide raises all ships, right?
Yeah, exactly. The more good games out there, the better the world is.
Exactly. All right, let's chew through our quick mentions here. Imperial City, the DLC for ESO, is now available on all platforms. It was just out on PC for a little while, and now it's available on all platforms. It's free with ESO Plus, or about 2,500 crowns, which is $20 for all of that content. Do you see that, Tryon? $20 for all of that? See how they did that? Anyways, still haven't heard. I would love to hear from people about that. All right, next. Destiny, The Taken King is also available. Talked about that. It's about $60 for the Taken King base game. They've got, special editions and all that sort of stuff. But it does come with all the content so far. So you buy The Taken King, you've got everything from Destiny so far. Quick note for those of you who didn't buy this DLC/expansion, surprise! You're not locked out of content that you could play before. So Nightfall, Daily Heroics, and Vault of Glass, guess what? You could do those the day before The Taken King came out, and now you're done.
See, that feels sneaky because, I mean, granted, I'm not a big Destiny fan. I've never played it, and it's probably not on my radar until a console finally falls in my lap or something like that. But I don't recall any indication that the game was going to be sold as a seasonal thing where you buy it and you only get access to stuff for a while and then it goes away.
Yeah, and there was the one video that was from like an investors meeting and stuff like that showed the Taken King, although I think it had a different name then, but it was all the same content. And that was labeled as 2.0, and apparently there's been, off-the-cuff references by developers as the Taken King is 2.0 of the game, right? Just like WoW, every expansion they raise the number, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't really...
And, go ahead.
It still feels sneaky, though. Like, you know what I mean, right? Like, this is not... This wasn't how... Like, when Destiny came out, they didn't say, hey, buy the game and play anything you want for the next year or so.
No, but the only thing that I dislike, there's been a lot of discussion about, again, like Guild Wars 2, before we knew about the base game going free to play, having to pay pretty much full price for a game where you get all the back content, right? Which is what you kind of do with Heart of Thorns. And this is what the discussion was with the Taken King as well. And I'm not horribly offended by it. I don't love that idea, but I'm not horribly offended by it anymore. But I don't like that they locked some stuff out, that you can't do some stuff that you could do. It seems like lazy developing or an outright money grab. Either it was an outright money grab that they just did this on purpose so that people would have to buy the expansion if they liked doing Nightfall's, Daily Heroics, or Vault of Glass, or they just didn't want to bother coding the ability to be able to do it at the old level cap and then the new level cap, which just seems lazy. Because if you look at WoW, all the dailies that you used to be able to do, you could still do them if you didn't buy the expansion. They just had new dailies at the new level cap. But that's not how this works. You get assigned a daily heroic for max level, and that's just the way that it was at the base game, and now those have been moved up. So it's like a daily quest like that. Nightfall and the Vault of Glass, that's a big one for me. That's the raid that was there. That should still be there to be able to be run at vanilla game. I'm very disappointed in that. So much for a quick mention on that. And last quick mention for us here, Sword Coast Legends has their second and last Head Start weekend this weekend for pre-orders. It's not really Head Start. It's not. There might be some continuity with saved campaigns for DM mode, but you can't do the story mode this weekend. This is all still just DM mode testing. No story stuff, none of that. Yeah.
This is more like beta than like a Head Start. So.
And beta for a specific part of the game, not the entire game.
Yeah, although it's a very, very late beta because the game comes out in, well, it's the 17th now, so it's out in 12 days. So
yeah, it's not like they're going to be fixing stuff.
Yeah. So interesting, too, this is coming out the exact same weekend that WildStar Free-to-Play is happening. So
yeah. Well, the exact same Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday, excuse me.
All right, that is our show for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Please contact us. Bill, if they do want to contact us, how would they do that?
There is a bunch of ways you can contact us. You can head over to our website, MMOreporter.com. You can email us at mmo.reporter@gmail.com. You can head to our Facebook page, facebook.com/MMO Reporter. You can tweet at any of us, either at MMO_reporter, at Harry Hall, at Leonor, or at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a voicemail. Give us a call, 616-666-778. You can head over to YouTube, youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network for all of our videos. We have got our podcasts all set up there. We've also got just a metric buttload, which is the precise universal measurement of video coverage, a metric buttload of PAX coverage up there right now. And I think there's still more kind of sliding in, isn't there, Chris?
Still a quarter of our coverage has been not edited yet.
Yeah. So
still working at it.
There's more coming. Keep following that channel. If you like what we're doing and you want to help us keep the lights on, head over to patreon.com/MMO Reporter and throw us a buck or two. We love that. And like I said, Chris is looking to give away some stuff once we get to 50 patrons. So check us out there, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. Finally, if you're not into a Patreon type thing, head over to MMOreporter.com/support for other ways that you can help out the MMO Reporter network.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Bill. It's nice to get back to the classic show here. It was a lot of fun.
A little bit of nostalgia. I miss Harry and Leonor.
So that's your nostalgia. Thanks. I don't feel hurt at all or completely.
No.
One or the other.
You miss them too a little bbit, don't you?
Okay, yes, I do. Thanks to our chat room as well for coming and hanging out. Very quiet tonight, but you were there. I could see the numbers going up. So thanks, chat room, for coming out and hanging out with us. Thanks to all of you for watching or listening to the podcast week after week. We really appreciate it. We hope that you watch and listen to it again next week, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMO Reporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.